Now at 6, first responders in Pittsburgh save a woman from inside of a house fire. Plus, authorities in Afton, Oklahoma search for a man in connection with last week's public dumpster overfill. And
I spoke to a local firework vendor about the tradition of setting off fireworks on New Year's Eve. I'm Melissa Alexis, and I'll have the story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
with New Year's Eve comes annual traditions. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Samantha Walker. One popular tradition is to watch or set off fireworks. KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke to some people about their New Year's Eve traditions.
Many people have an annual New Year's Eve tradition they like to follow, like making black-eyed peas for dinner, eating 12 grapes at midnight, or even spending the holiday with loved ones.
The tradition on New Year's Eve is spending time with my family,
which happens to be 4th grader Brady Strukel's favorite way to spend the holiday.
It's my uncle. He comes down and I really never get to see him, and that's just a special time for me.
Another New Year's Eve tradition is watching or setting off fireworks, which is why the seasonal fireworks store, Central City Fireworks in Joplin, is open.
A huge U.S. tradition, but especially in our area, there's not a lot of public displays for fireworks. So we do have a lot of customers that want to come in and shoot them off themselves.
Something she wants to remind people as people are purchasing fireworks to celebrate New Year's Eve is to remember safety precautions.
Make sure you brace them up when you light them. You can put a concrete block on either side of them. You can stake them with some rebar.
According to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, over 9,000 people were treated at emergency rooms for injuries involving fireworks in 2023. Which is why the manager at Central City Fireworks takes specific safety measures when she sets off fireworks.
At our celebrations is we put a barrier between us and the crowd, whether that be a table turned on its side or a piece of plywood, just some kind of barrier. If something would happen and it'd get away and tip over, it would hit the barrier instead of the crowd.
She says while Central City Fireworks tends to see a bigger influx of customers during the 4th of July, fireworks are also a great way to celebrate New Year's Eve.
It's fun, it's an adrenaline rush, it's exciting, it's beautiful. Fireworks are just fun.
Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Coming up later in the show, KOAM's Lonnie Walton tells us more about another New Year's tradition, making and sticking to those New Year's resolutions. Some places in the 4 states have already kicked off their New Year's celebration. St. Bridget Catholic Church in Scammon, Kansas got in on the holiday fun today with a Ring in the New Year bash. The church invited kids and adults of all ages to the event to take part in some fun and games such as flip, clip, tic-tac-toe, and yummy milk and cookie martinis.
For our church family to do together, and also it kind of benefits both ends of the spectrum, the little kids that don't need to stay up until midnight, and also the older people of our parish who don't want to stay up until midnight or don't need to be driving after dark. So it's a good way to bring us all together.
The event ran from 10:30 this morning until they rang in the noon year. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us with a first look at weather.
Well, taking a look outside, we still have a little bit of overcast to get through before we start to see some clear skies. Now, we did have a cold front come through this morning, so temperatures are way colder than they have been the last couple of days. So our high was actually just after midnight this morning in the upper 40s, and our low was this afternoon. It's going to continue to drop down into cooler temperatures. Current temperatures, though, right now, about 41 in Joplin, 38 in Pittsburgh, Parsons, Sedan, 34 in Iola and Yates Center. So it is definitely pretty cold out there. We got that northerly breeze, and then temperatures are just going to continue to drop as we head into the overnight hours, down through the 20s, with the overnight low dropping down to just about 26 degrees. Now on top of that, we also have a pretty strong wind chill value, with temperatures going to feel 5 to 10 degrees cooler than they actually are. So definitely bundle up out there if you're planning on celebrating New Year's, but I'll have a full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Lindsay. Authorities respond to an SUV versus motorcycle crash outside of Carl Junction. The crash took place around 2 p.m. yesterday at the four-way stop at the intersection of Lone Elm and Fountain Road. Authorities say the Chevy Tahoe, driven by a 16-year-old, failed to yield to a motorcycle. The 33-year-old Joplin woman driving the motorcycle suffered serious injuries. EMS transported her to a local hospital. She has since been transferred to Springfield for a higher level of care. First responders saved a woman from a house fire in Pittsburgh yesterday. The report came in around 4 in the afternoon when a caller said she was still in the residence. Pittsburgh police arrived first on the scene and forced entry into the house in an attempt to find the woman. Pittsburgh Fire Department arrived shortly after and managed to remove the woman to safety. The woman received minor injuries but was treated at the scene before being released. Responders contained the fire to the room of origin and extinguished it without any structural damage or fire spread. Authorities in Afton, Oklahoma want to thank the public for tips they've provided concerning an incident involving excessive dumping. The incident, which led to the removal of a dumpster from behind the Afton City Hall, took place last week. Trash on Friday had piled over the dumpster until the excess piled up around the area. Trash services were unable to empty the dumpster as the area was too filled up with garbage to get near it. Authorities believe this man is responsible for dumping on the grounds around the dumpster. Afton police are asking the public to please contact them if they have any information regarding either of the men in the photo. A restaurant in Kansas City serves up some Hanukkah-inspired meals. We dig into that story in just a bit, but up first.
The New Year's almost here. Don't you want to know everyone's plans for 2025? I'm Lonnie Walton at North Park Mall in Joplin. I spoke to many customers, and I got some very exciting stories, but also some very inspirational ones too. Stick around, I have all the details coming up.
We each hope for blessings and success in 2025 and strive to endure challenges. KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with some folks at the North Park Mall in Joplin who hope to do just that.
My New Year's resolution is to beat cancer.
Joe Erie is a 40-year-old father from Kansas. Right now, he's battling testicular cancer, the one he says should be the easiest cancer to fight, but unfortunately, not for him.
Keep getting better, but it keeps coming back. But I fall on a 2%.
We also met Jonathan Fleshman, who says he's also battling his own demons.
A recovering addict that's been struggling for a very long time.
And he admits he's made a few mistakes.
Wrong people, wrong places.
But his mother is doing what most look forward to doing in the new year.
My New Year's resolution, I've lost 140 pounds so far. I want to get healthier.
Yep, and as you may know, that's number 1 on the resolution list.
Exercise, eat healthy.
My New Year's resolution this year is to lose some weight.
Just eat better in general.
And I guess you can imagine what's on the younger minds these days. School.
Hoping to get good grades this year.
New Year's resolution is to not fail all my classes like I did this year.
To graduate on time.
Basically, like, graduate.
Is to graduate on time.
And with that said, both Erie and Fleshman says they have a few words for those battling demons.
My faith in Christ.
And if you don't have a family, at least find God, because that's where it's at.
And that was the biggest advice from these Joplin residents, to never lose hope and never give up. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
According to a Forbes poll, New Year's resolutions last only about 3 months on average. And just like national polls, most folks Lonnie spoke with said they have struggled to keep their previous resolutions. Diners at one Kansas City restaurant dig into the holidays with a Hanukkah-inspired menu. The Tannin Wine Bar and Kitchen in Kansas City's Crossroads District features Jewish staples such as matzo ball soup, potato latke, and also known as potato pancakes, and vodka bread pudding. For one patron at Tannin's, the menu items serve as a great way to understand another culture.
Every culture, whether it's a nation or religion, has their own food, and I think understanding their food helps you to understand their culture.
Tannin chef Brian Aaron says his goal is to put a modern twist on some traditional Jewish dishes, some centuries old. A little later, KOAM sports director John Dales takes a look back on the biggest local sports stories from 2024.
And I'll have a look at your New Year's Eve forecast, plus maybe a little winter weather coming up this weekend. Well, Happy New Year. We're heading into 2025 and it's going to be a bit colder. Let's take a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We still have a bit of overcast skies. Those start to break up in the next couple of hours here, and temperatures are still going to be pretty cold. So we're not expecting any rain chances tonight. We've got some lower level clouds that are going to start to break up here shortly, and then a few upper level clouds that are kind of passing by, and those are going to continue into tomorrow as well. Current temperatures in the upper 30s. The wind chill value, we have a northwesterly breeze, about 10-15 miles per hour still. So wind chill values are going to be in the upper 20s and just dropping 5 to 10 degrees cooler than the actual temperatures all night long. So it's going to be a pretty cold night. As we walk through the rest of the evening, we're getting down into the lower 30s and then into the 20s by 10 p.m. and then by midnight, about 28 degrees. Now again, wind chill values 5 to 10 degrees cooler than this. Clouds do start to break up, and then we head into the morning with our overnight low down in the mid 20s, about 25, 26 degrees. Now, let's walk through our future track. We've still got that overcast. This is about 11:30 p.m. We're getting down into the 20s. Overcast skies, but the clouds do start to break up by early tomorrow morning, and then we're going to have mostly sunny skies for our New Year's Day. Now, temperatures are still going to be pretty cold by 7:30. 25 in Parsons, 26 in Joplin, 24 in Yates Center. So it is a cold start to our New Year's, and then sunny skies. Warmer temperatures later in the day in the lower 40s, so still not too warm, but this is going to be about average for this time of year. So we're seeing about 41, 42, 43 degrees for our high New Year's Day. Still chilly temperatures, but it'll be sunny, pretty nice outside. And then let's jump ahead. We're kind of walking through the weekend, which is, we're seeing these cooler temperatures kind of persist all the way through the weekend into the weekend, and then possibly some snow chances. So this is going to be our first big winter system that's going to be coming in starting Saturday night. So this is about 11:30 p.m. Moving in, mostly rain, switching on over to a bit of a mix with freezing rain and sleet, and then snow in our northern counties, and that's going to be mostly where temperatures are dropping below freezing. So we're starting off Saturday in the mid to upper 40s. Then as we head into the evening, temperatures drop down below freezing, and we see a cold front pushing in by mid-afternoon to early afternoon on Sunday. And that's where we switch from a freezing rain and a sleet over straight to just snow. And temperatures are going to be very cold. By 10 p.m., we're already in the lower 30s, again, upper 20s, mostly snow, and that's going to continue all the way through early Monday morning. So we have the potential to see quite a bit of snow, along with ice accumulation. So the beginning of the system, when we're seeing that rain mixed with freezing rain and sleet, ice accumulations could be 1/10 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch. So we could start this whole system off with some ice, which could impact driving conditions pretty intensely. Now, on top of that, the snow potential that we could see for this system, 5 to 12 inches out, especially further east, and then a little bit further west, only about 1 inch to 4 inches, and then south of us, maybe up to 1 inch. So not a lot south of us. We're kind of at the bottom of this system, but it's going straight over us. So that's going to be something to really focus on as we head into the weekend. Could cause some major issues, road conditions, and then temperatures are going to be very cold following that system because, like I said, it's our first big Arctic blast. Temperatures are going to be below freezing for the highs for the remainder of the week.
You know, I see the chance of that snow and I get really excited for a minute, and then I'm like, I may have to drive in that, and I don't want to scrape my car off, so it becomes a little less fun when you think of it that way.
Oh, it definitely does. I mean, especially starting out with the ice, that's going to be something that people really should be paying attention to as we head into the weekend.
Yes, definitely something to watch for. Well, thank you, Lindsay. Still ahead, we have just a few hours left in 2024. KOAM Sports Director John Dales looks back at the biggest stories of the year in the 4 states. That's up next in sports.
On this final day of 2024, it's time to look back at the previous 12 months and all the excitement that came with it here in the 4 states. And here are the most viewed local sports stories of the year from our website. We start with the #1 most viewed story of the year, that being this spring when the Joplin Outlaws announced they were under new leadership and would be switching leagues. After several seasons competing as a member of the Mink League, the Outlaws left to join the Mid-America League, which was in its first year of existence. And under the direction of that new ownership, the Outlaws went on to win the Mid-America League Championship in August. Our second most viewed local sports story of 2024 is the Webb City 12U All-Stars advancing to the Midwest Regional Championship. Webb City Little League is one of the most consistent powerhouses in our area. 2024 marks the 3rd consecutive season that it has won the Missouri State Championship. And this year, Webb City won its first 3 games at the regional tournament in Whitestown, Indiana, which sent them to the championship game, and they got within one win of advancing to the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Coming in at number 3 on the list, this was obviously a big one. Leon Miller returns to Frontenac High School as its head football coach. He held that position from 1989 to 2005, and he led the Raiders to 1 state championship and 2 state runner-up finishes in that time. In his first season back with Frontenac this fall, Miller helped guide the Raiders to an undefeated regular season record and a CNC League championship. The 4th most viewed local sports story of the year belongs to the Diamond Wildcats softball team when they beat Willow Springs 13-3 in the Class 2 semifinals to advance to the state championship. Now, I am a bit surprised that this one had more views than a day later when the Wildcats did, in fact, win the Class 2 state title. But nevertheless, this was one of the most special teams we had the privilege of covering in the 4 states in 2024, and it's fitting the Wildcats would finish their season with a state championship. Rounding out the top 5 is the season preview for the Pittsburgh High School football team. Now, I'm not too surprised at this story making the list. I know the passion for high school football runs deep in the 4 states. The Purple Dragons obviously have a ton of supporters, and this year's Pittsburgh team put together a very solid season. They went undefeated against SEK League opponents en route to a 6-2 regular season record. They lost to the eventual 5A state champion, St. Thomas Aquinas, in the regional championship. Now, we don't have time for the entire top 10. For that full list, head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, or my Facebook, Dale's KOAM. But here's one more for you from the next 5 most viewed stories. That's Pittsburgh State and Ferris State football setting up a home-and-home series for the 2024 and 25 seasons. The Gorillas won the 24 season opener against the Bulldogs 19-3. Ferris State didn't lose another game all season. They went on to win the Division II National Championship. Like I said, everybody can find that full list of the top 10 on our website.
You know, it's really great to be able to see, not only what people are interested in, but just the diversity of stories that you guys have covered this year.
Yeah, there's been a lot in a lot of different sports, for sure.
Well, thank you so much, John. That's it for sports. We're back after this. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We'll get some advice from experts on how to boost your financial savings in 2025. Plus, COVID-19 emerged 5 years ago, but the controversy over its origin hasn't gone away. We take a look back. And we take a look back on the notable obituaries from 2024. Those stories and a lot more tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Well, it sounds like we have quite a bit of weather coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cold the next couple of days. Starting tonight, lows in the mid-20s, so overnight lows. Plan on going out, it's going to be pretty chilly. And then about average until we hit this weekend where we see the chance for snow.
I know we're all kind of interested to see if that snow happens, but fingers crossed, Okay, John, some big sports stories you've covered.
Yeah, for sure. And tonight, the quarterfinal round of the college football playoff gets started in just a few minutes. Boise State takes on Penn State.
Another story to add to your repertoire. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.